All right, so today we are diving into Colmar, France.
Okay.
You might know it from those like stunning pictures of Petite Venise with
Yeah.
those canals
Yeah.
weaving between
Yeah.
those colorful half-timbered houses. But trust me, there's so much more to discover
Yeah.
beyond those postcard perfect scenes.
Yeah.
We've got two articles here,
Okay.
and they're packed with details about both the
Yeah.
famous attractions and the lesser-known corners of Colmar.
Okay.
Think hidden architectural gems,
Mm-hmm.
quirky historical tidbits, and even a few interactive adventures. Ready to unearth some secrets.
I am, yeah.
Okay.
What's captivating about Colmar is that behind its charming facade, there are centuries of history and mystery just waiting to be uncovered.
Okay, let's start with
Yeah.
what most people picture when they think of Colmar.
Mm-hmm.
Petite Venise, right? Those colorful houses reflected in the Loch River are truly Instagram-worthy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
That Venice-like charm is definitely a draw.
Yeah.
But it's like the first page of a really good book.
Right.
There's so much depth to explore beyond that initial impression.
Yeah.
One of our sources highlights
Yeah.
the Maison Detect.
Okay.
It's a perfect example.
All right.
It's a Renaissance building.
Okay.
But here's the catch.
Yeah.
It's adorned with 106
What?
uniquely expressive sculpted heads.
Wait, 106 heads?
106 sculpted heads.
I'm picturing this building
Yeah.
just covered in faces,
Yeah.
all with different expressions,
Mhm.
some smiling, some frowning. It's
Yeah.
like a giant three-dimensional portrait gallery.
It is.
What was the architect going for there?
That's the mystery.
Yeah.
Some historians believe the heads represent various characters from Colmar's history, while others think they're more symbolic, perhaps showcasing different virtues or vices.
Okay.
It's like a puzzle
Yeah.
carved into the facade of a building, inviting you to decode its meaning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible how architecture can hold so much history and symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned the Maison de Tête is from the Renaissance period. Our sources also mention another Renaissance-era building,
Right.
the Maison Schongauer.
Yes.
What makes that one special?
Well, the Maison Schongauer is not only a beautifully preserved example of Renaissance architecture, but also the former home
Oh, wow.
of Martin Schongauer,
Okay.
a renowned 15th century artist.
Okay.
For art and history enthusiasts,
Uh-huh.
this house offers a unique glimpse into Colmar's artistic legacy.
Yeah.
Schongauer was a master engraver. His work was incredibly detailed and technically brilliant. In fact, his engravings were so influential. Wow.
That they even inspired artists like Albrecht Dürer, a major figure in the German Renaissance.
Wow. So by visiting this house, you're not just seeing beautiful architecture, you're connecting with the pivotal figure in art history.
Absolutely.
I love how these deep dives always reveal these unexpected connections.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got these grand houses
Right.
with fascinating histories, but our sources also hint at some hidden gems.
Yeah.
Like the cloister of the Unterlinden Museum. What's the story there?
The Unterlinden Museum itself is quite famous, housing a remarkable collection of art and artifacts. But what many people don't realize is that tucked away within this museum is a tranquil cloister.
Oh, cool.
It's like a secret garden, a peaceful oasis of calm amidst the bustling city.
Yeah.
Imagine arched walkways, blooming flowers, and a sense of serenity.
Yeah, that's hard to find in the city center.
Yeah, it sounds like the perfect place to escape the crowds and just breathe for a moment.
Yeah.
After taking in all the history and art,
Yeah.
that quiet space must feel like a welcome retreat.
Absolutely.
Speaking of history, one of our sources mentioned
Yeah.
the Salle de Corps de Garde.
What?
It sounds mysterious and a bit ominous. What's the significance of that place?
The Salle de Corps de Garde,
Yeah.
which translates to guardhouse hall,
Okay.
dates back to the 16th century.
Okay.
It served as a gathering place
Okay.
for the city guards. A reminder that Colmar,
Yeah.
like many European towns,
Yeah.
has a rich military past.
Yeah. Yeah.
This hall allows us to connect with that history, to imagine the guards going about their duties, protecting the city.
It's fascinating how a single building can transport you back in time, offering a glimpse into a different era.
Yeah.
But okay, get this. Our sources mention that Colmar has a 500-year-old temporary bell tower. A temporary bell tower that's been standing for 5 centuries.
A temporary bell tower for 5 centuries.
I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
But also a little confused.
It does sound a bit paradoxical, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's true.
Okay.
This provisoire, as they call it in French, sits atop the Collégiale Saint-Martin.
Okay.
One of Colmar's main churches.
Okay, so spill the tea.
Okay.
Why is it still there after all these years?
Well, it all goes back to a fire in the 16th century that damaged the original bell tower.
Right.
They erected this temporary structure intending to replace it later. But as the years turned into decades and then centuries, it somehow just stayed.
Wow.
It's almost as if Colmar embraced the quirkiness of this temporary turn permanent solution.
It's like that saying, nothing is more permanent than a temporary solution.
Right, exactly.
But I have to say, it does add to Colmar's charm. It's a reminder that sometimes the unexpected becomes a part of a city's identity, giving it a unique personality.
Yeah.
So we've got grand houses, hidden cloisters, and a 500-year-old temporary bell tower.
Right.
What other surprises does Colmar have in store for us?
Well, aside from its stunning architecture and intriguing history, Colmar also offers a more interactive side.
Oh, okay.
There are actually a couple of experiences that encourage visitors to engage with the city's secrets in a fun and adventurous way.
Okay, I'm all ears.
Okay.
Tell me more.
One option is a treasure hunt.
Okay.
Called Mystères de la ville de Colmar, where you follow clues to uncover hidden stories and locations. It's a fantastic way to discover parts of the city that most tourists miss.
Right.
Then there's the Colmar Aventure app.
Okay.
A self-guided tour that reveals fascinating anecdotes and secrets as you walk through the historic streets.
So it's like having a personalized tour guide right in your pocket.
Exactly.
And for those who appreciate the religious aspects of a city, Colmar has some unique offerings as well.
It does.
One of our sources mentions the Saint Matthew Church, which has a rather peculiar feature. It's topped with 2 small lanterns.
2 lanterns.
2 lanterns.
That's unusual.
That's unusual. Yeah. Is there a story behind that?
What's fascinating about this church is that it reflects the religious complexities of the region throughout its history. Saint Matthew has been used by both Catholics and Protestants.
Oh, wow.
The 2 lanterns are a physical representation of that shared heritage.
Wow. It's like the architecture itself.
Yeah.
Tells the story of the city's religious diversity.
Yeah.
But what about those seeking a more contemplative experience?
Yeah.
Is there a place in Colmar where visitors can find a sense of peace and reflection?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Located a bit outside the city center is the Calvaire de Colmar.
Okay.
A religious site open day and night, allowing visitors to connect with a more spiritual side of the city at any time.
It sounds like the perfect way to end a day. Of exploring Colmar's vibrant streets and fascinating history. A moment of quiet contemplation amidst the beauty of this historical site.
It is.
But our exploration of Colmar isn't over yet.
You're right.
There's still so much more to uncover.
There it is.
Stick with us as we dive deeper into the hidden gems and untold stories of Colmar in part 2 of our deep dive.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds great. Welcome back to our deep dive into Colmar. In the last part, we talked about the Saint Matthew Church.
With its dual lanterns, a symbol of the city's Catholic and Protestant heritage. It's incredible how a simple architectural detail can hold so much historical significance.
It really speaks to the power of observation, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes the most intriguing stories are hidden in plain sight. And speaking of intriguing, Let's circle back to that 500-year-old temporary bell tower we mentioned.
Yeah.
The one that's become a permanent fixture, the Collegiale Saint-Martin.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The provisoire. I'm still chuckling at the idea of something being temporary for 5 centuries.
It does make you wonder.
It makes you wonder what other quirky details are hidden in Colmar's streets.
What's fascinating is that this seemingly haphazard approach to the bell tower actually reflects a broader trend in Colmar.
Okay.
It's a city that embraces its history.
Layer upon layer, rather than trying to erase or modernize it.
Right.
You see this everywhere.
Yeah.
From the blend of architectural styles to the preservation of traditional crafts.
Yeah.
It's like time moves a little differently in Colmar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they've perfected the art of wabi-sabi, that Japanese philosophy of finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence.
Right.
You know, speaking of unique details, I'm really curious about the Maison des Têtes and those 106 sculpted heads.
Yeah.
What do you think the architect was trying to convey with all those faces?
That's a question that has puzzled historians for centuries.
Yeah. Right.
There's no definitive answer, but that's part of the allure, isn't it? Some theories suggest that heads represent different personalities from Colmar's past, while others lean toward a more symbolic interpretation.
Right. Perhaps representing different virtues or vices.
Right.
It's almost as if the architect wanted to leave it open to interpretation.
Yeah.
Inviting each viewer to create their own narrative.
I love that idea that a building can be like a conversation starter across time.
It is.
It makes you wonder what stories those sculpted faces could tell if they could speak.
All right.
Now, earlier we touched on another fascinating house, the Maison Schongauer.
Yes.
Home of the renowned artist Martin Schongauer. What kind of impact did his work have?
Well, on the art world, Schongauer was a true master of his craft. His engravings were known for their incredible detail and technical brilliance, influencing a whole generation of artists, including Albrecht Dürer, who's considered one of the giants of the German Renaissance.
Right.
What's remarkable is that Schongauer achieves this level of mastery in a medium that was relatively new at the time.
Right.
He really pushed the boundaries of what was possible with engraving, elevating it to a fine art form.
So visiting his house is not just about stepping back in time, but also about understanding how one artist can shape the course of art history. It's incredible to think that the walls of that house once held such creative energy. You know, as we're talking about all these fascinating places, I'm starting to get a real sense of Colmar's personality. It's a city that's both beautiful and quirky, grand and intimate, historical, and full of life.
You're picking up on something really important there.
Yeah.
Colmar isn't just a collection of sites. It's an experience.
Yeah.
It's the kind of place that invites you to slow down, to wander, to get lost in its charming streets and stumble upon unexpected treasures.
Right.
And speaking of treasures, let's not forget about those interactive experiences we mentioned earlier.
The Mystères de la Ville de Colmar treasure hunt and the Colmar Aventure app. I'm picturing myself following clues through hidden courtyards and discovering little details that most tourists miss. It's like being in your own personal mystery novel.
Exactly.
And that's what makes these experiences so engaging. They encourage you to become an active participant in uncovering the city's secrets rather than just passively observing them. It's like the difference between reading a history book and actually stepping into the past. Now, earlier we mentioned the cloister of the Unterlinden Museum as a place of peace and tranquility.
Yes.
Can you paint us a more vivid picture of what it's like to be in that space?
Imagine stepping from the bustling museum into a world of serene stillness. The cloister is enclosed by arched walkways, and in the center is a small garden filled with flowers, and fragrant herbs. Sunlight filters through the branches of a centuries-old tree, casting intricate patterns on the stone walls. You could hear the gentle splashing of the fountain, and the air is filled with the scent of roses and lavender. It's a place where you can truly escape the noise and chaos of the outside world and simply be present in the moment.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can almost feel the tranquility just listening to you describe it. It sounds like the perfect antidote to museum fatigue or a busy day of sightseeing. It's a reminder that even in a city as vibrant and historic as Colmar, there are still spaces for quiet contemplation.
And speaking of quiet contemplation, let's not forget about the Calvaire de Colmar, the religious site located a bit outside the city center.
Okay.
It's a place that holds a different kind of peace, a peace that transcends the everyday.
I'm curious to learn more.
Okay.
What makes the Calvaire so special?
The term Calvaire refers to a representation of the crucifixion of Christ, and it's often used to describe a place of pilgrimage and quiet reflection.
Right.
In Colmar's case, it's a peaceful haven, open day and night, allowing visitors to connect with a more spiritual side of the city whenever they feel drawn to do so.
It's beautiful to think that even in the stillness of the night, people can find solace and connection in that space. It speaks to the enduring power of these sacred sites.
Right.
How they offer a sense of continuity and meaning across generations.
It's a reminder that there's more to a city than just its tourist attractions. It's also about the beliefs, the rituals, the experiences that shaped its soul. And Colmar, with its blend of history, art, and spirituality, offers a rich tapestry of all these elements.
And with that, we've covered a lot of ground in this part of our Colmar deep dive.
Yeah.
But our exploration isn't over yet.
No, it's not.
There are still more architectural treasures and intriguing stories to uncover in Colmar.
There are.
That's right.
There are always more layers to peel back.
Yeah.
More secrets to discover. And in the final part of our deep dive, we'll delve into some of the lesser-known wonders that make Colmar such a captivating destination.
Welcome back to the final part of our Colmar deep dive.
Yeah.
We've journeyed through charming canals, stood in awe of centuries-old architecture, and even uncovered a 500-year-old temporary bell tower. It's been quite the adventure.
It has.
It's amazing how much depth and personality we've found. Yeah.
In this one town. But you're right.
Right.
Our exploration isn't over yet.
No, it's not.
Colmar still has a few more surprises up its sleeve.
It does.
Okay, I'm all ears. Okay.
What hidden treasures are we uncovering?
Well, in this final chapter of our Colmar adventure, one of our sources led me to the Maison des Chevaliers de Saint-Jean, or the House of the St. John's Knights.
Okay.
It's a medieval house that often gets overlooked, but it offers a glimpse into a fascinating period of Colmar's history.
Knights, medieval houses.
Right.
It sounds like something straight out of a storybook.
It does.
Tell me more.
Okay.
Who are these St. John's Knights?
The St. John's Knights were a religious order that played a significant role in medieval Europe.
Okay.
They were known for their charitable work, providing care for the sick and the poor, but they were also renowned for their military prowess, defending Christendom against its enemies.
Wow.
This house in Colmar is a testament to their presence in the region, a tangible link to a time when knights and chivalry were a part of everyday life.
It's incredible to think that those walls witnessed such a different world. It's a reminder that exploring a place like Colmar isn't just about admiring the architecture. It's about understanding the social and religious forces that shaped its history.
Exactly.
And speaking of architecture, there's another lesser-known gem that I think you'll find fascinating.
Okay.
It's called the Maison Kern, a beautifully preserved, half-timbered house located on the Place du Marché aux Fruits, or Fruit Market Square.
Ooh, half-timbered houses.
Yeah.
Those are so iconic of the Alsace region.
For our listeners who might not be familiar, half-timbering is a building style.
Where the wooden frame of the house is exposed, creating those distinctive patterns
Yeah.
of dark beams against lighter plaster.
Right.
But what makes the Maison Kern so special?
Well, there are so many half-timbered houses in Colmar. While it might not have the fame of some other houses, the Maison Kern is a remarkable example of traditional Alsatian craftsmanship. It's the intricate details that really stand out. The way the timbers are joined, the decorative carvings, the patterns in the plasterwork.
Yeah.
It's like a love letter to the crafted building, showcasing the skill and artistry of the people who created it centuries ago.
Like each of those details is a tiny brushstroke in a larger masterpiece.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I can almost picture the artisans meticulously carving those timbers, taking pride in their work.
And that's what's so magical
about exploring a place like Colmar. It's not just about seeing the major landmarks.
Right.
It's about slowing down, paying attention to the smaller details, the hidden stories embedded in the very fabric of the city.
It's about finding those unexpected connections to the past. The moments that make you pause and say, wow, I never knew that.
Well said.
Yeah.
And as we come to the end of our deep dive into Colmar, I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Oh, I'm intrigued.
Okay.
On me.
As you wander through Colmar's enchanting streets, taking in its sights, sounds, and smells, remember this. Every building, every cobblestone, every corner you turn could be holding a fascinating piece of the past.
It's like the whole city is a giant puzzle box, just waiting to be unlocked.
Exactly.
So don't be afraid to dig a little deeper, to ask questions, to follow your curiosity. Who knows what hidden gems and stories you might uncover?
That's such a perfect note to end on.
It is.
It's a reminder that travel isn't just about checking things off a list.
Right.
It's about embracing the spirit of discovery, letting yourself be surprised by the unexpected, and creating your own unique story within the larger narrative of a place.
Beautifully put.
And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe someday you'll be the one sharing your own Colmar discoveries with the world.
That's the beauty of travel. It's a journey that keeps on giving long after you've returned home.
Yeah.
So all our listeners out there, we say, happy exploring.
Yeah.
And may your journeys be filled with wonder and delight.
Absolutely.